What if those scary thoughts you get aren't temptations at all? What if your brain isn't secretly wishing for the stuff that freaks you out, but is actually just torturing you with it? And what if, the more you try to prove to yourself you're a good person, the deeper you sink into the secret whirlpool of shame and fear that nobody else even notices? Let's talk about something that messes with a ton of people. Millions, seriously, but almost never gets any airtime. It hides in the corners of mental health talks because it deals with the one thing that makes everyone squirm: sex. But not in the ways you probably think. This isn't about desire or kink or fantasy. This is about fear. Not just any fear, but the kind that freezes you up and makes you doubt who you are at your core. I'm Emma Chamberlain, and this is the infographics. Here's what sexual OCD actually looks like. Let's just get this out there. Everyone has weird thoughts. Your brain is basically a chaos engine, spitting out random connections all day long. You don't get to curate everything that pops in there. Sometimes, the weirdest stuff just shows up out of nowhere. Picture this: you're on the subway, and out of nowhere, your brain flashes the image of pushing someone onto the tracks. Or you're holding a baby, and suddenly you imagine dropping them. Or you're at dinner with your family, and bam, you get a totally inappropriate sexual thought about someone at the table. Where did that even come from? For most people, that's it, a weird blip. You go, whoa, that was messed up, and move on. The thought leaves as fast as it came, no big deal. But for some people, it doesn't leave. It gets stuck. It circles back, but this time with questions. Why did I think that? What does it mean? Am I secretly horrible? Am I not who I thought I was? And there's the line between a random, intrusive thought and sexual OCD. The thought itself isn't the real issue. The real pain is what happens next. OCD is fueled by fear. Most people know about the classic stuff: flipping light switches, lining things up, washing your hands until they bleed. That's all real, and it can wreck your life. But OCD isn't picky. It'll latch onto anything: cleanliness, safety, order, religion, relationships, and yes, sex. Here's the big thing almost everyone misses. Sexual OCD isn't about wanting something. It's about being terrified of it. Think about the difference. Feeling horny is wanting. It's a pull, an urge, an annoyance sometimes, but it's still a kind of energy that goes somewhere. Sexual OCD? That's like being invaded. You get these thoughts you never asked for, and your brain instantly treats them like evidence. Evidence you're a monster. Evidence you're dangerous. Evidence your whole identity is a lie that's about to fall apart. Here's the cycle: obsession, anxiety, compulsion, brief relief, then right back to the start. Over and over, until you finally break the loop. The cycle of sexual OCD. The obsession. Out of nowhere, a thought pops in. Usually something sexual, taboo, or just plain weird. It's the last thing you'd ever want to think about. The anxiety. Your body freaks out. Stomach sinks, heart races, maybe your face gets hot. You wonder, why did that even come up? What does this say about me? The compulsion. You start fighting with yourself. The thought keeps looping. You check your body. Did I react? You panic if you notice any feeling at all. Then you dive into endless Googling, desperate for proof that you're still normal. The trap. You stumble on a post or a comment. Someone else has the same thought. For a second, you feel better. But then your brain chimes in. What if you're different? What if yours is worse? That relief slips away, and now you don't even trust the comfort you just found. This is the part most people just don't get. OCD doesn't settle for, I'm probably okay. It doesn't even want, I'm almost certain. It demands total, unbreakable certainty, proof that just doesn't exist for humans. No one can say with absolute confidence, I'm not secretly something awful. There's always room for doubt. Our minds can always crank out one more what if. The more you chase certainty, the deeper you sink. The more you check, your thoughts, your memories, your feelings, your past, the more you teach your brain that this stuff is important, dangerous even, and that you need to stay alert. The thoughts just get louder, nastier, more believable. It's not because you're changing as a person. The thoughts aren't getting more true. It's just that OCD grabs onto whatever rattles you the most. It's a fear predator, and it grows stronger every time you feed it with worry. That's why sexual OCD feels like your mind has put you on trial, nonstop. You're not a bad person. You're just stuck in an endless loop trying to prove you're good. And your brain shows up as the prosecutor, always tossing out new evidence, new angles, new doubts. Think you've won the case? It appeals. Find a little peace? It interrupts. Feel safe for a second? It sneaks in with, but what if? Let's get real about what this actually feels like. The abstract stuff doesn't really show the exhaustion, the loneliness, the way it leaks into every part of your life. It can start with something tiny. Maybe you're watching a movie with a friend and a sex scene comes on. Out of nowhere, your brain flashes an image, the kind you didn't ask for, connecting your friend to what's on the screen. Instantly, your chest tightens, your face heats up, your stomach drops, and your vision narrows. Not because you wanted that thought, but because your brain just blindsided you with a what if. What if that means something about you? What if you're attracted to your friend? What if you've been lying to yourself? What if you're secretly a terrible person? What if everyone else can see it? What if this ruins everything? So you start testing yourself. You replay the moment in your mind just to see how you feel. But you're already anxious, your heart's pounding, your palms are sweaty, your whole body's on high alert. Maybe what you feel is just fear, or adrenaline, or just the physical reaction of even thinking about something sexual. Your body doesn't really tell the difference between anxiety and desire. But your brain? It just notices you felt something and decides that's proof. Now you're really spiraling. You start avoiding your friend. You skip movies with sex scenes. You even avoid being alone with your own thoughts because you're not sure what they'll throw at you next. You ask anyone who will listen for reassurance. Does this thought mean I'm a bad person? Have I always been like this? Am I in denial? Would you still care about me if you knew what was going on in my head? The people who love you, who honestly don't know what you're going through, say what they think will help. You're fine. Don't worry about it. You're a good person. I know you. And that feels good for about 2 minutes. Then the doubt creeps back. They don't really know me. They're only saying that to be nice. They don't see what I see. If they knew, they'd be disgusted. They'd leave. They'd tell everyone. I'd lose everything. That's the cruelty of sexual OCD. It locks you inside your own mind, then convinces you that asking for help will only prove your worst fears, that you're broken, dangerous, and completely alone. It makes you hide the one thing you most need to talk about. And here's the kicker. The things you do to feel better, asking for reassurance, avoiding triggers, running endless mental checks, just make it all worse. Every time you check and don't get the answer you're after, your brain learns checking is necessary. Every time you dodge a trigger and feel relief, your brain learns the trigger was dangerous. Every time someone reassures you, your brain decides reassurance is the only way out. And the cycle just keeps going. It's that nightmare loop where the harder you try to fix things, the worse they get. Every attempt to calm down just stirs up more chaos. It's exhausting. The enemy just seems to get stronger the more you fight. So, how do you tell if you're dealing with sexual OCD and not just thinking about sex a lot or having a high sex drive? It matters, a lot, because the way you treat it is totally different. Let's talk about a few signs people usually miss, because they don't fit the usual OCD mold. First, do you get unwanted thoughts that hit out of nowhere? And they don't just bother you, they terrify you. Not just a little uncomfortable, not just, that's weird, but full-on panic. The kind that makes your stomach drop and your brain freeze. Thoughts that feel like attacks, not invitations. Next, do you find yourself replaying things you've said or done, like you're watching security footage? Searching for proof you didn't mean something, or hunting through old memories for clues that you've always been this way? Picking apart the past like you're trying to solve a crime? Do you avoid certain people, places, or situations because you're scared a thought might show up? Maybe you've cut out entire chunks of your life just to dodge the possibility of an unwanted image popping in. Planning your day around what might trigger you. What about reassurance? Do you keep asking people if you're okay, only to feel calm for maybe 5 minutes? Are you stuck in endless Google searches, hoping to find the answer that finally makes you feel safe? Scrolling through forums, desperate to find someone with the same problem, hoping their recovery means you can get better too. And then there's testing. Do you deliberately put yourself near triggers just to see how you'll react, then freak out the second you notice any kind of physical response? Watching your body for any sign of arousal, convinced that any sensation is proof of your worst fears. Here's another piece. Do these thoughts feel totally out of character for you? Clinicians call this ego dystonic. It means the thoughts clash with everything you know about yourself. They feel alien. You don't want them. You don't agree with them. You don't see them as part of who you are. They freak you out exactly because they're so unlike you. If any of this sounds familiar, what you're stuck in isn't desire, it's obsession. Obsession, followed by fear, followed by compulsions that bring a quick hit of relief. And those compulsions aren't always visible. Sometimes they're just mental rituals. But they all do the same thing. Lower your anxiety, make you feel safe, even if it only lasts a moment. Sexual OCD comes in a lot of different flavors, and recognizing them can really help. Sometimes it means taboo thoughts, stuff that feels shocking or forbidden, like incest or other things you'd never actually want. For others, it's violent or aggressive sexual thoughts that instantly fill you with panic and disgust. Or maybe it's religious or blasphemous sexual thoughts, which can make someone with strong beliefs feel racked with guilt or like they're spiritually under attack. Some people get stuck on thoughts that clash with their identity, a straight person tormented by gay thoughts, or vice versa, or someone in a happy relationship who can't stop thinking about other people. These thoughts bring a lot of shame and confusion. And then there's the fear of acting inappropriately, worrying you'll say or do something sexual in public, even though you never have and the idea horrifies you. In all these cases, the real issue is fear, not desire, not hidden wishes, not suppressed urges, just fear, blown up and twisted by a brain that won't stop hitting the panic button. Research is pretty clear about this. Sexual OCD is a form of purely obsessional OCD. There's usually not some obvious physical ritual. Most of the compulsions are mental. Reassurance-seeking, checking, avoiding, testing. And because it doesn't look like stereotypical OCD, it often slips under the radar. People miss it, even therapists who aren't familiar with what to look for. Things are changing, slowly, as more people start to get what's really going on. But there are still millions out there suffering quietly, convinced they're alone, convinced something's wrong with them that can't be fixed. Here's the truth. You're not alone. Not even close. Some estimates say up to 1/4 of people with OCD deal with this exact type. That's millions worldwide, most of them convinced they're the only one. And that's not even counting everyone who's undiagnosed, because mental health care is tough to get, or because society keeps pushing this idea that you have to tough it out on your own, or just because shame about certain thoughts keeps people silent. If you're stuck with intrusive thoughts that disgust you, scare you, or feel totally wrong for who you are, listen for a second. Don't be embarrassed. Don't let shame keep you trapped. Shame grows in silence, but it falls apart in the open. Find someone trained to help. There's nothing shameful about it. There's only the chance for relief, for freedom, for actually getting your life back. Here's the part OCD doesn't want you to know. You can treat this. Really treat it. People get better every single day. One of the best ways is called exposure and response prevention, or ERP. And no, exposure doesn't mean acting on your thoughts. It's not about giving them power or chasing after them. It's about learning to let those thoughts just be there without jumping into compulsions. No constant reassurance, no endless overthinking, no checking, no rituals, no mental battles or tests. The point is to teach your brain something new. A thought isn't an emergency. It's just a thought. It doesn't say anything about you. It's not a secret confession, not proof of anything. It's just noise, sometimes disturbing, sometimes terrifying, almost always unwanted, but noise. ERP works by slowly getting you used to the thoughts that freak you out, while you practice not trying to neutralize them. You start small. Maybe you write the thought down, maybe you say it out loud, maybe you listen to it on repeat. You let the anxiety come. You don't fight it or run. You just let it hang around. And over time, something shifts. The anxiety spikes, then it fades. The thoughts lose their grip. Your brain figures out you can handle discomfort, that you don't actually have to respond to every alarm, that these thoughts come and go if you stop wrestling with them. Look, it's hard. Really hard. Facing your worst fears on purpose feels completely backwards. But it works. It works because it breaks the cycle. It starves OCD of the energy it needs. Some people also do better with meds, like SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. They take the edge off, lower the volume on obsessive thoughts and anxiety, while therapy does its job. They're not miracle cures, and they won't help everyone, but for a lot of people, they give enough relief to make ERP possible. They help you breathe, help exposures feel doable instead of impossible. The goal here isn't to never have a weird thought again. No one can promise you that. The real goal is to stop treating every strange thought like it's a confession or a crisis. To stop analyzing every blip in your head like it's evidence against you. To let thoughts come and go, without grabbing on, without building your identity around them. Because that's what OCD does. It tricks you into believing your thoughts are who you are. That every weird, random image in your mind means something about your soul. And that's just not true. It's a miserable, isolating lie that keeps you stuck. Your thoughts aren't you. They're just thoughts. They'll pass. They fade. They only have the power you hand over to them, and you can learn to stop handing over that power. If you're dealing with sexual OCD, I want you to hear something that might seem impossible right now. I'm saying it anyway, and you can come back to it when you're ready. You're not broken. You're not a monster. You're not secretly dangerous. You are not your worst thought. You're not defined by what scares you most. You're a person with a brain that's firing off too many false alarms, reading random signals as if they're threats. That's a medical thing, not a moral one. It's a problem with your brain's threat system, not your character or your soul. If these thoughts freak you out, that alone proves they aren't really yours. The fact that you're fighting so hard to be a good person, it means you are one. People who are actually bad don't spend their nights worrying about it, they just act. All that distress you feel, it shows what you care about. It's not proof there's something wrong with you. There's real help out there. People recover from this kind of thing all the time. Seriously, every single day. They learn to live with their thoughts instead of letting those thoughts run the show. They get their lives back. They stop running away, stop checking, stop begging for someone to tell them it's okay. They figure out how to sit with the not knowing and realize, hey, they can survive it. Eventually, they find some peace. It all starts with just being honest about what's going on. Call it what it is. Reach out to someone who gets it. That part's terrifying, I know. It means admitting the thing you're most ashamed of. It means saying it out loud. It means trusting that someone will get it, that they'll understand instead of judge. But you know what's just as scary? Staying stuck in that prison forever. Living on repeat with those obsessions and compulsions. Feeling alone, exhausted, scared all the time. You don't have to live like that. You deserve so much more. You deserve a way out. Thanks for watching this deep dive from the infographics. If this video helped you see yourself, or someone you care about, a little more clearly, hit that like button. It helps our channel, and honestly, it lets us know that these conversations matter, that people actually want to talk about the tough stuff, that none of us are as alone as we think. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more in-depth looks at mental health, psychology, and the weird ways our minds work. We're here to bring you real information with honesty and empathy, and we want to hear from you. Did this video hit home? Have you been through something like this? Are you in recovery? Got questions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every single one. Your stories shape what we talk about. This is a place without judgment, and that's important. Your voice matters. Your experience matters. You matter. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share the video. Someone out there might be struggling and feel totally alone. Maybe they've been hiding their thoughts for years, convinced they're the only one. Sometimes, just seeing a video like this can give someone permission to reach out for help. Never underestimate what a simple share can do. It might be what changes someone's whole day, or their life. That's it for now. I'm your host, Emma Chamberlain, and this is the infographics. Stay curious, stay kind, to others and to yourself. Life's hard enough without us being our own toughest critics. See you next time.